पिता के मैं गुण गाऊं, परम वचन से दिल को सजाऊं, दिल से उसी का उपकार मानूं, उसकी दया मैं हर पल पाऊं।
In the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, 16-year-old Mary Lou Retton became the first American girl to win a gold medal in gymnastics. To accomplish this feat, she had to make many sacrifices. While other teenagers were enjoying themselves dating and dancing, Mary Lou was training and sweating. To improve her skills, she practiced for hours in the gym and had a strict diet. She also competed frequently in international meets. But what Mary Lou Retton gave up in terms of good times and junk food was little compared to what she gained in self-satisfaction when she won her Olympic gold medal. What she lost in the social life of a teenager, she found in the acceptance and respect at becoming a champion gymnast. Mary Lou Retton's Olympic experience illustrates the paradox in today's scriptures and the strange and contradictory statement of Jesus. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. There are 28 chapters in the Gospel of Matthew, 16 in Mark, 24 chapters in Luke and 21 in John. Of this total of 89 chapters, only 4 chapters deal with the first 30 years of the life of Jesus. The other 85 chapters are about the last 3.5 years of Jesus' life. 29 of the 85 chapters are about the last week, and 13 of the 29 chapters are about the final day of Jesus' life. These 13 chapters contain 579 verses about the final day. Much of the final week and the final day of Jesus' life is about intense pain and unimaginable suffering. As Jesus comes closer to his final day, he is gradually preparing his disciples for a life of struggles. Jesus sets out to clarify to the disciples their wrong impressions. He tells them that the cross, pain, and suffering are an inevitable part of his life. Peter is shocked. He resists the idea of pain and suffering in God's plan of salvation. Why should there be pain and suffering? In a way, Peter was right. We too ask the same question. Why uncertainties? Why pain? Why suffering? Why the cross in life? At the time of Jesus, the cross meant only one thing: death. The worst criminals were nailed to the cross in the most humiliating and painful manner. The cross was a symbol of shame, of suffering, and of death. Jesus changed everything about the cross. He went through the shame, he went through the suffering, and he went through death on the cross. The cross was not the end of the Jesus story. By rising on the third day, Jesus redefined for eternity the meaning of the cross, transforming it into a symbol of our faith, love, and victory of life itself over death. The desire to be popular and successful is a temptation all of us face. For some of us, our self-image is shaped by the number of likes we get on Facebook, the views on YouTube, and the number of followers on Twitter. If it were possible, we would love to see ourselves on prime-time television as often as possible. All fine, but the glory we achieve through all this is short-lived. Gross as it may sound, a life of struggles and pains is qualitatively more fulfilling and gratifying in the end. Peter had this escapist idea of the cross and a faulty idea of Christ. A suffering Messiah was beyond his imagination. Peter wanted to rescue Jesus from the oncoming pain and suffering. Jesus tells Peter that good intentions are not enough for those who wish to follow him. Peter is not able to understand that the mystery of the suffering and death is an integral part of Jesus' mission. Though Peter followed Jesus, somehow he wanted to lead Jesus. There was a hidden desire to be the protagonist, the main character in the Jesus story. So Jesus asks him to back off and to follow him. "Get behind me, Satan." Satan refers not merely to Peter the man, but to all those forces and powers which prevent us from following the challenging ways laid down by Jesus. Peter's temptation can be a temptation to all of us. We often forget that we are called to follow Jesus, not to lead him. There is a story of little Rohan who found a cocoon in his garden. Every evening after school, he would go to the garden to find out if the cocoon had undergone any changes. For many days, nothing happened. Then one day, to his great joy, he saw a small opening in the cocoon. He sat by the cocoon and curiously watched as the butterfly struggled to force his body through the little hole. Then it stopped to make any progress. It seemed that the butterfly was stuck and jammed inside. Rohan decided to help the butterfly, and he carefully cut open the cocoon. The long struggle ended and the butterfly came out easily. The butterfly was free and Rohan was overjoyed. He then noticed something very strange. The butterfly had a swollen body and withered wings. He kept watching the butterfly, expecting it to fly, but this did not happen. In fact, the butterfly was never able to fly. It slowly curled up, starved, and died. In his kindness, Rohan did not realize that the butterfly's struggle to get through the small opening of the cocoon was nature's way of forcing fluids into its wings so that it could be ready for flight. The struggle was meant to strengthen the butterfly. Struggles in our lives are designed by God to strengthen us. By instinct, we run away from them and avoid them. Though he himself went through the worst suffering on the cross, Jesus does not glorify and romanticize suffering. He does not ask us to go hunting for suffering and searching for pain. He does not want us to be passively resigned to our fate. Jesus invites us to look positively at suffering from a different perspective. He invites us to go deeper and beyond our present state. Suffering is not an end in itself. Suffering for the sake of suffering is meaningless. When understood and accepted in faith as God's plan, suffering has a cleansing, formative, and redemptive value. It teaches us to be a hope-filled people. A disciple is one who is willing to serve, even when the choice to do so is inconvenient and uncomfortable. Deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. Deny yourself means saying yes to God. It means dethroning our little self and enthroning the mighty God in our life. This is exactly what the Virgin Mary did when she said to Angel Gabriel, "May it be done to me according to your word." The Devil's Advocate is a movie about choices people have to make to live an upright life with all its challenges, or to live an easy life that leads to doom. At some time or the other, We all face moments when doing something seems right but does not feel right, or vice versa. Jesus reminds us that we have to make a choice for Him or against Him. We cannot be neutral. The way of the Messiah is the way of the cross, hard and challenging, but in the end, fulfilling. Following Jesus is easy when life runs smoothly. Our true commitment to Him is revealed during trials. Let us renew our commitment to be His disciples. Let us be prepared to face all the suffering and pain that comes in our way on account of this commitment. If there comes a point in our lives where we are faced with a choice, Jesus or the comforts of this life, which will we choose? Deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. Amen.